What is good, Regis recipients? How are y'all doing today? Let me know in the comment section. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to this episode, Regis Reflections. Y'all already know each and every episode we have a different athlete. In this episode, we got my dog, my twin, my boy, Aaron Frimpong in the building. Say what's up, Aaron.
All right, what's good, y'all?
Yo. So, for people that don't know, Aaron is a D1 cheerleader here at the University of Notre Dame. So, Aaron, off rip, I have to ask you, what do you have to say to the people out there who think cheerleading is not a real sport?
Really hard-hitting question, but off rip is wild. I'd say give it a try. I'd say I was especially high school. I was on that same type of time. I was like, yeah, it's a little questionable. But like, go ahead and do it. Like, you can always, talk, but once you put it to action, then it's like, okay, like you see the work, you see the hard work. Each cheerleader puts in practice in, practice out, the competitions, all of it. It's like it takes a lot of work, and I think once you do it, then it's like, okay. Like now, okay, like yeah, this is somewhere. This is real for real.
A real sport. So, cheerleading is a real sport considered to you, right?
1 billion%, yes.
I feel. So, I knew that you didn't do cheer in high school, you didn't do cheer freshman year of college, but you originally started second semester sophomore year, and you joined the cheer team. So, talk through that process of joining the cheer team, but also people don't know that you're an aerospace engineer here, one of the hardest majors. So, talk about you joining the cheer team and what that process took like, and also just the balance of aerospace along with being a D1 cheerleader.
Yeah. So at least my journey with the cheer team, it began second semester of freshman year. Sorry, not
Oh,
sophomore.
freshman, my bad.
And I had a few teammates who are at least now my teammates, but prior to that, they were in a few of my classes, and they were like, "Yeah, like you can hit a backflip, like give cheer a try." So like at first, it was just off like pure athleticism. They're like, "Yeah, like you're pretty athletic. You should give it a try. It'll be a lot of fun." And at first, I'm always skeptical because I was like, bro, like I swear, all high school, I was just like, yeah, no, it's like it's not a sport, it's not this, it's not that. And then I was like, you know what, fine, I can talk all that, but let's actually put it to translation. Let's go and like let's see like what it is for real.
Mhm.
So I went to open gym, and like don't get me wrong, after the open gym, boy, I was sore. The shoulders was fried. I was walking a little crazy. But like after that, I was like, oh, low key, this is kind of fun. And it's because like you're doing something new all the time. And that's something that's always starting. I'm like, yeah, we got to do something new. Every day. And with that, like I was like, okay, I think we can keep it going. And then lo and behold, come tryouts, I did my thing. And next thing you know, I was on the team. And then this season just had the more experiences trying new things, being on the field, instead of playing football, watching or like kind of cheering it, just getting that different perspective. And it was fire. I'm like, dang, it's kind of cool. And then even last week we just competed at nationals, another new experience.
How was that? How was competing at nationals? Talk
It
through that
was it
experience.
was fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you, it's like it brought back a lot of the old like lock in. Because normally we just cheer football and like we gotta lock in, but it's like we're locking in for like the football team and just kind of
Yeah.
for the crowd engagement, not like necessarily for ourselves. But like going into it, I was like, oh, like yup, I had 21 Savage, Stunna, all the hype, the hype playlist going on in the background. It's like okay, like it felt really good just being in a competitive environment, especially being around other cheerleaders, because like we're all there. It's like okay, we're there to compete, we're there to win. And that was just a great experience going there and just kind of getting that different perspective of cheer. Especially from my like, very small time doing cheer. Kind of seeing that there is that other aspect of it, which is the competing. Fire. I'm like, let's run it back. Let me go back. And of course, the weather in Florida is a lot better
Oh,
than
so
it
much
is
better.
here. So
Oh,
like,
definitely.
take me back.
Take me back. Okay.
Um,
So with you joining the cheer team and everything like that, you kind of had to adjust. I would say you had to adjust your life, adjust your schedule, and everything like that. So can you just talk through that basically that adjustment from first semester freshman year, you outside just having fun, getting adjusted to college to now you're a D1 athlete and really a truly competitive sport. So talk through that adjustment, people.
and it kind of even pairs off what you were talking about earlier with my major.
Oh yeah, talk about that as well.
Aerospace. Because like doing aerospace, one like in terms of the university, very credit heavy. It's like yeah, you're class, 18 credits, 19, you're overloaded. Like that's normal. So like in doing that, like even first semester, like freshman year when I wasn't doing cheer, and it was just like, like, yeah, I got time, but it was kind of like just like, you got a lot of free time, but free time is sometimes isn't the best time because you tend to procrastinate, just go do stupid things, and you're just like, then you come back and you're like, dang, I have an assignment due in 20 minutes that I didn't start because I was procrastinating or I took a nap. So like even doing cheer now, it's like it's made my time management so much more consistent because now I know it's like, yeah, I got practice this time to this time. I cheer a game, it'll go from this to this time. And it's like you really structure your time, which for me has been very, very critical. Because I'm a big person. It's like, yeah, like if I got structure in my life, we're golden.
Structure
But
is
like,
key.
if I don't have that schedule built out in GCal, yeah, nothing is getting done. I'm sleeping in all day. So like kind of being forced and kind of like having to have that structure has been so helpful. That's something that's like, yeah, like cheering, just even doing a sport. And I bet even most other collegiate athletes can also talk about that because I'm like, yeah, like being time structured, practice will make you do that. Your game will make you lock in on your time, because you don't have much free time. And so that the true free time that you do get, you can truly value it because you know it's like, okay, I took care of everything else, so now I can truly be free.
So time management is really an important piece of being not only a Notre Dame student but a Notre Dame athlete. Would you say?
Oh yeah, especially yes, especially at Notre Dame, because Notre Dame is very very rigorous in terms of academics. Because Notre Dame wants to put you in the best position to be like go and propel yourself in the future. The biggest quote is 4 for 40. You may hate the weather outside, but you only got to be there for 4 years, and then you're set for the next 40.
That's true.
Um,
That's true.
so like, and with that, it's same applies to athletics as well, because the biggest motto is always play like a champ. And that applies to everything that we do. It's like, yeah, you got to be the best. So like Notre Dame, like being prepared and being well versed academically as well as athletically requires a great time management, which is something that I think a lot of athletes do have because it's like not only are they doing their sport, but they also are very like smart and intelligent people as well.
That's very true. So you just finished aerospace class, you finished out of chemistry, science, all these math classes. Now after that, you think you have free time, but now instead of free time, you're a D1 athlete, so you have practice. Walk me through what practice looks like. Let's say what does practice look like on a Wednesday in the cheer aspect of collegiate level?
Perfect. You see, in this semester, like the way it's going, our Wednesdays will go in. I typically practice starts at 5. I like to be about like 4:10, 4:15. Old man got to put some heat on the back, go warm up the legs real quick, get a good stretch in. So do all that. Then practice rolls around at 5. Of course, we always start with the team stretch. Just kind of always starting the team environment, but then we break up, and we'll focus on whatever the topic of focus is for the week. So, like for example, yesterday, our focus was kind of getting back into the rhythm of basketball and cheering basketball games. So we did kind of our routine and what our process looks like there. And after we got all that done, it was like, yeah, now like we can go and kind of skill build is what we like to call it. And that's when you're trying to learn new skills and you're just kind of like stunting to have a lot of fun. And that's everyone like I'm telling you now that like especially after competing, we all just want to say like, hey, let's skill build the whole practice and it's a great day. But of course, after we do that, after 7, we'll go to the Goog, get a good lift in, got to get the grind, got to
Big strong.
get a little strong. And then from there, at 8, that's when we're completely done there. And that's like either eat, go to homework, go shower, do all that, and then just taking care of yourself.
How many times each week do you all have practice?
So now, at this spot, at this point, it's 3, but only 2 are required. So we do have an optional practice now.
Okay.
But in the fall, when it is a lot of time, very like a lot of things going on, we do have 3 practices, which 3 a week, which are required, and then of course we lift twice a week.
So you're just on the go at 24/7 all week.
Just a little bit.
That's something like, all right. So a lot of people may not know, but cheer is not only a mentally demanding sport, but physically as well. You're doing flips, you're carrying these women, you're holding them in the air. So I know that cheer takes a toll on your body. And I know you mentioned it earlier, but how do you kind of de-stress yourself or kind of recuperate your body after a game or even after a practice?
Yeah. Biggest thing for me, stretch. I'm telling you, I am the biggest biggest advocate for
He
stretching.
is.
Even though I don't do it as much as I should, even though I do it a lot, but I'm like always got to do more because the more you stretch, the more fluid, relaxed that you feel. So like for me, it's always stretching, no matter like how intense the game or the practice was. Get a little stretching, get some good calf raises, some scoops. Get a good little stretch in there. Just kind of reset the body. Of course, if it was a tough day, get some ice in there as well. But just kind of that and sleep, making sure you're getting adequate sleep and fueling your body. I think that's the most important part because cheers, as you mentioned, is very physically demanding. And every movement that you're doing is like doing a workout. And it's like, whether or not whatever stunt we're going, it's like, we just did like this in simulation of like doing either like a power clean or like a push press or things like that. So it's just like you're actively just doing a ton of reps. So naturally you're getting a workout by doing cheer. So like the biggest thing is just fueling yourself correctly. So like after every practice, after every game, we always go to one of the dining halls. Our food commissioner, her job is coming, she might not get you reelected for food commissioner, but that's its own story. But like we always take a trip to either north or south, just get team dining, and just like kind of one build the bonds, but also fuel our body. Because if you're not fueling, you're not functioning and you're not performing at your best.
That's true. So I know you're a former athlete, football, wrestling, and now you do cheerleading. So this like at any time when you're cheering, is like thought of injuries ever hit your mind of like, oh, if I land on this flip wrong, is like the rest of my life maybe just like ruined or just like damaged in a sense. Does that ever kind of run through your thought of injuries?
I'd say no. And I think the biggest reason for that is because cheer is so dependent on both parties. Whereas of course when you are like tumbling and doing a lot of the flips, that's more like kind of you and your mind. I think for me, especially when it comes to tumbling specifically, I'm at the point now where like I'm confident. I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna hit it. If I don't, I'm gonna over rotate. I'll just land on my butt, and that's fine. Um, Whereas stunting, it's on both sides. So like you're of course you're trusting your partner's trusting you. So like, if you do have those kind of negative thoughts and nothing goes up, then it's like okay, like you kind of start to stunt scared. When you do that, that's when it's even more dangerous. Because it's just like in football, for example. Like if you're going into a drill and you're like, yeah, like what if like I land like this, and you kind of play soft. That's how you lead to more injuries because the person that you're going against or the person that you're working with is going at a full 100%. So like if you're not going 100%, 110%, and they are, that's how injuries happen. So at cheer, I'm like, hey, we're hitting it, let's do it. So it's always like that mindset, go, go, go.
So confidence, you say, is key. Having that
Very,
confidence.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So last semester we played Ohio State, and I know you used to play football as well. Unfortunately, we lost the game, but Ohio State night game, tie game, back and forth. And I was in the stands, and everything, but you were on the field. So just kind of walk me through. Let's start from the beginning. Walk me through just that day, before getting ready for the game, and it's also as well as being on the field and you being a former football player, just being on the field and just seeing, Ohio State versus Notre Dame. Just walk me through how was just that feeling?
Man, that day was wild. Because it was honestly like a fever dream because the morning started very early because we had college game day. And we were on set for that. So
What time?
I think we had to be there like 8 a.m. So our day started very early. Don't get me wrong, not as early as the people who were there at 5 a.m. You guys are troopers, but we were there pretty early. So we got there, and of course we're being around set, things like that. And for us, our day never we didn't really get break that day. Like it was maybe a quick one, like maybe like a quick 30-minute lunch break or like a quick nap break, but nothing truly consistent because when there's a night game, we also go to a lot of tailgates to like kind of whether it's like campus sponsored tailgates and things like that. So we go kind of around there and just kind of do a cheer too. So like that day, we did college game day, got a little bit of a break, then we came back and went to like the different tailgates and stuff like that. And then of course we get back and it's like see I think like 6:30 that range. And like that time I took like a mini nap. I was like, let me get just
So power nap,
good little power nap, get some energy. Um and then from there, we make our way down to the field. I am telling you, I don't know what it was, but like prior to hitting the field, I was kind of like, a little tired.
Mhm.
As soon as we got there, energy was 200%. I'm sitting here, I get up, I'm like, wow, like the energy in the stadium is
That's
insane.
crazy.
And keep in mind, we got there like kind of pregame, so while they were still warming up, we had one more tailgate to go to.
Mhm.
And like, of course, a lot of like the recruits are around there, and like, we get in, we're like hyped, going around like, dapping up some of the recruits and the people because they're also getting hyped as well.
Mhm.
And like we finished our tailgate, which was in Foley's, which is just at the south side of the stadium. Come back down, we're going down the steps. I'm looking around, I'm like, yo. I was like, yo, this is insane. Because you just see the energy is just insane. The music's going. Everyone's just like, it's like, ooh, let's do it. So they get down to the sideline. It's like, okay, yep, this is gonna be a fun one. And of course, as the game progresses, it lived up to it and more. Because as soon as you're just going, like, oh dang, like this is fire. Let's do it. Then fourth quarter, yeah,
Man,
just wow.
that was a crazy quarter.
Just insane. The energy was insane. That fourth down stop. I'm sitting. I'm looking at it. I have Loki had one of the best views of it too. I'm like, oh, like going crazy. I'm hitting flips and all of that. And they had the NBC like crew right there. Like they were like right next to us and kind of talking to them. Because one of the guys was an Ohio State alum, and I was just talking. And then the other guy like he was like, yeah, Notre Dame, like, low-key, they got this. So, like, just chatting a little bit, just having a great time. And, like, it got, of course, when it got to the last few minutes, I'm like, oh.
You got stressful.
I was like, yo, this game got to erupt. Because at that point, everyone was like, oh, yup, it's time to rush the field.
Yeah.
And even us, even we had prepared to rush the field. Because we had a lot of our equipment, they had taken it inside already. And they're like, yeah, like, let's go ahead and deal with this now because like we're prepping to rush the field. Like that last play, I'm telling you, or like that goal line play. Senior, I had my bag and I had my partner's bags right here. I think I had my phone as well. My partner's phone. I was like something like that. I had phones ready. I was like,
we ready for it.
We make this stop straight to the middle. Because yeah, that was our instructions. Like, yeah, if we rush the field, get to the middle. So I was like, ooh, you don't have to tell me twice. So just like going from like that old time, I was like, yo, it's going crazy, and it just seemed like a pin, hearing like a pin drop. Because like during the play, you didn't hear anything.
That's true. It was silent because they had to review it. The whole stadium was just like,
oh yeah,
nervous.
Just nervous. Like during the review, like our coach was like, yeah, like let's get a chant going. Let's like get a let's go Irish. We tried to get it going. The crowd was
no, everyone was nervous, just looking at the jump, like waiting for a reaction. Was that a touchdown or not?
Like facts. We tried to get it going, and then like after a few was like, yeah, no, like we just gonna have to sit this one out. It's okay. And then of course after there's like, dang. But no, that game was insane. And hands down, me, like I played football all my life, and I was like, yeah,
this is
the best game of football I've been a part of.
Really?
Even overplaying, yeah. Wow. I've played some really big games. I'm like, yeah, this low-key top 10. It's like seeing just 80,000 people and just seeing the amount of energy coming from everyone. I was like, yo, this is wild.
That's true. So I know for you've been doing cheer for a semester. Going on 2 semesters. You haven't traveled yet, but this incoming fall, you'll start traveling with the cheer team and everything like that, going to away games. So have you in your mind kind of prepared yourself going back to that balance of cheering as well as also being an aerospace engineer major and just going traveling planes, coming back same night, doing homework? Have you kind of thought in your mind how are you going to handle that, and have you talked to any of your teammates, upperclassmen?
So actually, I do get a glimpse of it. And I kind of got a little bit of it as well as going to nationals. So I got the experience of traveling. But I will also possibly travel for March Madness, like women's ACCs. So that'll kind of give me like a bit of a perspective and just kind of see like, okay, like how does this traveling thing work with school? Especially this semester. This semester is gonna be a little crazy class wise. But like and of course I have talked to a ton of teammates, just kind of seeing how does it function, what's the best way to go about it. because like when it comes to traveling in school, especially with a school like Notre Dame that is very rigorous, it's hard to do it perfect. But you do have to find what works for you. So I think like I have kind of talked to a lot of teammates. Have I thought of it so much? Not entirely. Because like I'm at the point I'm like, let's take it a day at a time. Let's figure out like, yes, let's get ahead, but like also let's live it. Let's be in the moment.
Yeah, live in the present. You can't focus too much in the future because you're gonna worry yourself.
Exactly. And so it's just like kind of take every day at a time, every game at a time. Go have fun, make it a blast. And just kind of do what I have to then. And then of course when that time comes, don't get me wrong, like they were flying. I'm gonna think about the midterm or like the classes that I'm missing. I'm like,
Okay,
like I'm have to text one of the boys, be like, yeah, like you got notes, like what were your notes looking like for like this day? Just kind of being very advocative, and kind of talking with a lot of professors, and just kind of being open in that line of communication. Because I think communication, that's the difference between whether or not traveling goes good or bad for you. So just kind of being open with professors, be like, yeah, like, hey, just to give you a heads up, like I do travel for the team, and with that, like there's a lot of weeks that like I would be out of town or things like that. And like the more you talk with them, the more open, the accepting that they are of it, which is very helpful. Especially given the engineering department, that like a lot of the professors, you're gonna see them multiple times throughout your college career. So just like once you get to know them, kind of be friendly with them, that makes everything a bit easier, especially with communicating.
That's good. Communication is key. So I remember that. So recently, since you joined the cheer team, have you like had any mental health struggles of just either adjustment, being on the cheer team, these games? And if so, could you just share just a few of those struggles to the audience?
Um, I'd say this mental struggles is less like, at least for me specifically, it's less like with balancing life and cheer. It was for me, it was for a little bit, it was kind of more like in the element of cheer. Because a lot of times with cheer, you can hit a mental block, and not even a mental block, but a physical block and a skill level, and a progression of a skill. And sometimes when you hit that level, like you're always like, hey, like I want to hit it, like you want to hit it, but like sometimes when you can't because like something's either off and like you kind of mentally stop yourself. So I think for a little bit I was in a period like that, where I kind of was like, dang, like I'm really trying to work for this guy. I want it bad, but it's not happening. And kind of in that moment, I was trying to tell myself, like, you know what, just take a step back. Kind of take a step back and just kind of like refocus and figure out what's going on. Because I think sometimes in a lot of, and even all athletes, I think a lot of us tend to have this problem because we always want to be the best. We always just like when something goes wrong, we're just like, okay, run through the wall. Let's like break the wall instead of looking around, seeing that, oh, there's a door right there. And kind of taking that. Just kind of taking a step back to move 3 steps forward. And for me, I was able to do that. Kind of take a step back. I was like, let's reassess the situation. Let's see, what do I need to do technique wise to get this skill, and how do I best do it to where it's consistent. And then once I did that, I was like, okay, we're good. And then like in asides, and I guess that maybe a little thing with like cheer and life, probably just like the hectic football weekends. Namely Ohio State week. That week was, although great for football, for classes was also brutal. Because I think I had 3 midterms that week.
Engineer life.
Engineering life, I'm telling you. It's like 3 midterms. I think I cheered the volleyball game the day before, and then of course the game itself.
On go, man. On go.
Always on the go. So like I was just like, so in that moment you're like, you wake up, take a lift, I gotta do this, have a midterm at 8. Let's go pass it, then let's go to class, and let's go to practice. And it's just like in those moments, I'd say it's more tiring physically. Because you're also trying to tell yourself like, hey, like, let's keep it together. Me, I don't do caffeine. Hey, coffee, energy drinks, keep me away from it. But it is hard. I'm not gonna lie.
That week fall into it.
Oh yeah, no, that week I was very close. Like it was like, yeah, I might need one for like this 9:30, so I don't fall asleep. But like I think with it overall, it was just like, it was just more when it's just a lot, but it's never like. Of course, it's with cheers, like it's there and it's not. So like, for example, everything that happened that week, it happened and then it was gone. It's like, okay,
It was
we're
over.
getting closer and closer to the game. Then once the game happened, kind of the stresses of the game as it happened, they go away because like it happened. So I think with it, it wasn't as much of a mental like stress, and it didn't take too much of a toll because it was like, once it's done, it's done. Which is I think that's a mindset that I've kind of grown on and kind of like led on. It's like, okay, yeah, like it's what it's done is done, and like learning to control what you can control because you can't control everything.
That's
Like
true.
if you try to do that, yeah, your mind is gonna go crazy.
Gotta leave it to God.
Exactly, like put it in God's hands because of course He has the plan for you. He sees the vision, and you just gotta control what you can control. Like when you start to try and do too much, that's when like a lot of times, especially in the cheer world, that's when like mentally you start thinking second guessing yourself, and that's when a lot of things tend to go south. So like kind of just sticking in what what you can control, and of course leaving the rest in God's hands. That's kept me grounded for this, especially this first semester.
That's good. Good. So building off of that question, a final question for the people. And you kind of answered last, but I kind of want to expound on more. What advice would you give to the listeners out there on their mental health journey?
I'd say biggest thing is be patient. Because in life is a roller coaster. You're gonna have your highs in life, the best days ever, and you're gonna have your lows, which are like the worst days. So for example, you can go from cheering Ohio State, we're about to win, the crowd's about to go, like we're ready to rush the field, to that touchdown, we're at an all-time low. You can hear a pin drop while you're hearing Ohio State fans go crazy. So it's just like kind of being patient and right in the middle, because when you're right in the middle, nothing phases you too much. The highs are great, but the lows also don't hurt too bad. So like when you're in the middle, it's just like, okay, like I can. Like, you always think like, hey, I can do this. Because you're never like when you're in the middle, you're grounded. So kind of staying grounded. And then of course always keeping always a line of prayer. Because I think a lot of times, especially like even athletes and non-athletes, like we tend to always try to do a little too much when we don't need to. And with that, we tend to stress a lot. And I know this applies to a lot of Notre Dame students. Like everyone wants to be a high achiever, and high achievers, although yes, we're trying to do that and it's great, it does take a big toll on you. So I think it's just like understanding like, hey, like sometimes I do need some guidance and know how to do it in a right way. And a lot of times that is prayer. And that's just like, talking to God, getting some direction, figuring out, hey, like, how do I do this? And like, what is the best way to go around it? So I'd say being patient and just kind of like having that open line of communication with God. And if you're not religious, that's okay. Just kind of like even talking to other people and figuring out like, hey, like being okay asking for help. Because help, like many brains are more powerful than one.
That's
So
true.
like as you're like kind of as you're going through anything, whether it's mental, physical, talk to someone else, because 99.999 and keep on going nine of people, they are at least someone is experiencing the same thing, and they kind of know what you're going through. So like if that's the case, you are able to get help. So like at least ask somebody. Because if the person you directly ask probably doesn't know something or doesn't know the answer, they know someone who does. So like just don't be scared to ask for help, because help, that's the way we go around in this world. So
That's true. That's true. Well, we're just recipients. Y'all heard it from my dog, Aaron Frimpong. Aaron, any last words?
Regis recipients, like, comment, subscribe. You guys got the best man in the game.
Oh, man.
My dog, Mr. Regis.
Thank you. Regis recipients, remember, it's okay to not be okay. You matter. It's your boy JD, and I'm out.